is now 6:45, 1.0, opening the meeting at 6:45. Is there a need for an interpreter? Okay, thank you. 2.0, call to order. 3.0, roll call. Emmanuel Lopez,
Here.
Merced Zamora,
Here.
Freddy Espinoza,
Here.
John Alvarez,
Here.
Sabrina Gomez,
Here.
and myself. If we can all please stand for the flag salute.
Ready, salute.
Thank you. Welcome all. Let's see. Are there smiling faces? Yes, there are. Some smiling faces. Okay. 4.0, adoption of agenda. 4.1, adoption of the agenda is requested as presented with addendum.
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Sabrina Gomez. Is that correct?
Yes.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-all. 5.0, consent calendar. 5.1, approval of the regular board meeting minutes for February 25th, 2025.
A motion?
Second.
We have a motion by Freddy Espinoza, second by Merced Zamora. Is that correct?
Yes.
Any questions, corrections, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-all. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay. 5.2, approval of release warrants dated February 27th, 2025, in the amount of $285,931.99.
Motion?
I second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Freddy Espinoza. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-all. 6.0, awards presentations. 6.1, student board member report.
Can everyone hear me okay? Everyone? Good evening, Board President Lopez, school board members, Superintendent Mendez, school administrators, teachers, and community members. My name is Emmanuel Lopez, and I'm the Associated Student Body President at Farmsville High School. It is my pleasure to be here tonight as a representative of the entire school body at FHS. Tonight, I would like to share some activities happening at Farmsville High School. In athletics, both softball have won both their games, or both softball and baseball have won both their games against Erosian Strathmore, and baseball against, I believe it was Riverdale on Saturday. Track will be having their next meet on Saturday the 15th at Central Valley Christian High School. This meet will allow anyone to participate, including discus, shot put throwers, pole vaulters, and runners. Wish them the best of luck and hope they place first. Go Aztecs. Football season is around the corner, and in just a couple months, our first game will be here, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Although morning workouts have started for any returning players or any new players, workouts start every day at 6:30 to 7:30 a.m., which gives them time to change for school in the mornings. They will be holding practices every day after school to learn the new playbook and learn the positions. Can't wait for the new season. In extracurricular activities, the high school Farmsville FFA chapter had a great week celebrating National FFA Week with dress-up days and activities. The Kissimmee fundraiser helped raise money to donate to Valley Children's Hospital. Furthermore, Farmsville had two FFA representatives, Genesis Juarez and Sarah Garcia, attend the Sacramento Leadership Experience. Only the top 75 seniors in California are selected to go, stepping into the role of legislators and having legislative visits. Additionally, the state FFA degree is a prestigious award and FFA members can receive. The qualifications include investing 200 hours of community service and 500 hours in SAE projects. This year's Farmersville FFA has 5 students receiving their state FFA degrees. In closing, I would like to thank the school board and Superintendent Mendez for the opportunity to share the great things happening at Farmsville High School. Go Aztecs.
All right, thank you. Six point two, Hester Elementary Principal Update.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Paz.
Good evening. My name is Ms. Bass, and I'm the current principal at J.E. Hester Elementary. Good evening, community, Farmersville community, board members, Superintendent Mr. Mendez, and staff and colleagues. So today I'm giving an update on the great things happening at Hester Elementary School. Go Falcons. Right, Sebastian and Damien? Yes.
Nice.
So, let's get started with some amazing things that are happening within the classroom and outside of the classroom. Our staff is currently working on unpacking our 5 essential standards for each grade level. We meet as a guiding coalition twice a month, depending on the need and the availability. We talk about curriculum, we talk about data, we review the data, and then we make decisions moving forward. We are currently using site-wide 3 data points to assess the whole child and to give parents an entire view of the child development. So we have the STAR assessment, which is math and reading together. We have benchmarks that are created by teachers based on the 5 essential standards. And then we also use Scholastic reading assessment, which has like 5 components, fluency, it has, I believe, also phonics, it has word recognition, and other things that students need to be literate. We are in the implementation phase of DRDP, which stands for Desired Results Developmental Profile for TKM Preschool. So this is an observational tool where students or teachers are able to walk around, and while students are playing or doing things, skills, assessments, then the teacher can actually do the assessment right there. And the student actually has that information like this. So I believe that 100% of our parents are actually on Learning Genie, which is the platform that we currently use to give parents an update, a daily update on how their child is doing. We have, according to the California dashboard in 2023-2024, we decreased chronic absenteeism from 41% to 28%, and that's amazing. That's an amazing goal for us because we continue to have dedicated time for meetings with parents, seeing how we can support them in having their child come to school, but also promoting the importance from teachers and from staff that attending school, even in preschool, is super, super important for their child. Every single day is important. So our school is very proud of that achievement. We are currently in ELD deployment. So ELD deployment is aimed at supporting language acquisition, academic intervention, and academic enrichment. So the teachers are able to calibrate within their team what students need what, and then they actually go into deployment. It's 40 minutes in the morning for kinder and 40 for first grade. So we are doing 3 things with 1 of our procedures for intervention. TK and kinder morning recess separation. So this year, we actually have TK coming out 15 minutes earlier, and that has significantly decreased our incidence during morning recess because we have less students out in the playground and there's more equipment, right? More things to play with. So therefore, there's no issues with sharing. So we have really enjoyed that separation. Then we also have some support from ABA. So our certificated and classified staff are continuing to receive professional development to improve classroom management. And we're offering not only strategies, but also modeling, and then giving feedback to the teachers, meeting with them, what is working, what isn't working, and how do we change it to improve behavior, which then improves academics. And let's see the following slide. So this slide is all about climate and culture for our students. So every morning, our students come into classroom, even at the gate, we greet every student by name. It's either one of our staff members or myself. Our teachers are they walk their students to the classroom, but at the door, they take the time to greet them. They can either ask for a fist bump, so we have visuals. It's a fist bump, it's a elbow bump, it's sometimes just a hello, and sometimes it could be a hug, right? So some students who may need that extra support get it right at the door. We have morning meetings, so we typically have carpet time, and this is the time where students actually have a time to connect, not academically, but just about how they're doing that day, and the teacher is able to better support them. We have Monday greetings or Monday morning virtual meetings hosted by Mr. Mori, who is, very animated, and it's really been great because it allows students to see other students through Zoom, right? So it's a virtual session, and we have students do the Pledge of Allegiance in English and in Spanish. And then we also have a Falcon Creed in English. It's called the Falcons Learner's Creed, and it's in English and in Spanish as well. So students actually do that. It's not a staff member. Then we also have morning meetings to support SEL. We have a social contract in every classroom. So, a lot of times we're used to having rules in the class, right? Raise your hand, listen to the teacher, which is a great one, but we implemented a social contract, which is totally driven by students. So at the beginning of the year, mid-year, we talk about how we want to treat each other. How do you want me to treat you? Like a teacher to a student, the student to the teacher, but also students to students. And whenever there's issues in the classroom, the teacher brings up the social contract, and we talked about what the students actually said. I want to be treated with respect, right? What does that look like? And so it's a really good opportunity to have student accountability because student voice is important, even at a very young age. They're very, very smart, very, very capable, and they know what's right and what's wrong. So we really try to implement that every single day, and every classroom has one. We have, I talked about the Monday virtual announcements, but we also came up with a Friday Falcon Cheer hosted by our social worker, Miss Annabelle. She has a great voice for it. She never loses her voice, but she's out there. She doesn't even need a microphone. So we do a chant. We are the Falcons, the mighty, mighty Falcons. And our students, Sebastian and Damien that are here right now, may know it. They really enjoy it. So it's every Friday. So Monday, we have the Monday virtual meeting to welcome students to school. And Friday, we have a send-off, right? So we talk about the great things we saw that week, whether it's students being responsible, respectful, and being safe. And then we give examples. Whether it's we talk about attendance. We do a shout out for attendance. So we have an attendance trophy. That's the next one also, that we shout out every Friday. So for example, we have TK Kinder is together because they dismiss at the same time. We'll say, for TK, we had Mrs. Simon with, the best attendance this week. And so we remind students of how important it is to attend school. And that happens every single Friday. We also have a token economy system. So the token economy system we had implemented since last year. It's during unstructured time. So at recess, we have tokens. Everybody who's out at supervision will give a token to a student if they're being safe, responsible, respectful, and it could be like different things, right? Whether it's helping a classmate, whether it's helping each other tie shoelaces, whether it's, supporting each other when they're feeling sad, and we give tokens, and then it's a competition between grade levels, and then that grade level gets announced, and they get extra recess time, which they really enjoy. So we do not give out candies, it is recess, and they love it. So that's going really well. And let's see, we are doing the Falcon Academy to review school-wide expectations, and that's once a month. Our teachers do that, and it really does support the school because we talk about certain areas that have, right, the data is showing that there's still issues, the playground, the bathroom, the cafeteria, and the teachers take out the students and we review expectations in each area, and that really works out well. We are starting, this is not on the slide, but I did want to tell you that we are still doing our social skills groups, so we're starting our second one of the semester, and that is dedicated time that as a team, we have said, you know, social workers are not interrupted, they're running groups, and it's Wednesdays and Fridays, and everybody else, you know, in the leadership team or whoever is available supports with students. So that's really worked out well. I do want to invite you to finalize to our open house, which is March 20th, from 5 to 7, or doors will open at 5, and classrooms at 5:30. This year, we are having a gallery walk, which the teachers are going to focus on a book. They're going to talk about the art in the book, or you know, whether it's chalk, whether it's paint, whether it's water paint, and then the students create an art based on the book, and they'll have it displayed outside of the classroom. So I do encourage you to come and visit us. And we are also having a tea party March 27th. That is for our 0 to 5. That is UPK and also Save the Children. And right now we have about 90 students who have RSVP'd. So it's 90 students plus one parent because it's limited space. And it is a tea party and we're giving out books. So it's themed for literacy. So each table is decorated with a book, right? And so then each child gets to take home the book. So right now we have 90, and that'll be at the Boys and Girls Club. So we're really excited about that. And also we finished our Read Across America on Friday, May 7th. We had about 20 people come to the school site to read in every classroom. I gotta say the most famous people for students were the firefighters. I know. You know, it's kind of like they're so excited when they're in there. They were really well behaved when they saw a firefighter, but everybody else was kind of chopped liver. But thank you for participating, and that is, you know, what I have for you. Any questions, comments?
Mr. Zamora? Quick question. When I was a kid, because I heard you was talking about the songs, we used to sing a song that went like blue and white, blue and white.
We sing it at the Falcon Cheer every Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Nice, awesome.
Mr. Espinoza, you want to share it with us?
Like sing it?
I'm just kidding.
I'll sing the whole thing right
I know you will.
now. I still remember it.
You do?
I hear you, so you need to,
Yeah,
there you go, yeah. How did it go?
but that just shows how important these cultural
Yes.
pieces are
Mhm.
for our students.
Definitely.
I know the chorus, I know blue and white, but it's "We're the students of J.E. Hester School." Yes.
Nice.
Okay. Well, if there's no questions,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I address real quick?
Yeah, I'm not,
Yeah.
I still want to talk.
Go ahead.
How long has this wall been up there?
It was there when I was a student.
I know I have some pictures standing in front of it for a student
Mhm.
with that wall. I want to thank you, like, all the stuff that's going on over there is great. One thing, the social contract, that's a very important piece, especially now starting them at this young age, because, I mean, it's always going to be an issue, no matter how old you are, no matter if you know right and wrong. There's just some things, you know, like it has to constantly be
Mhm.
repeated. So that's a good thing that you're starting them young with that part and holding them accountable. And just a reminder of how, you know, we like to treat each other. Because it's one, you know, sometimes like this is what we do here, but then maybe when they go home or they're somewhere else, those rules don't apply. And then you come back and you have to just reiterate it. So thank you for that. For the social skills groups, who attends those?
So typically, it's the social workers. So based on the data that we have, so whether, students are exhibiting certain behaviors, there's teacher recommendation as well, but ultimately the social workers, which is Mr. Blake Keller-Halls and Mrs. Annabelle Jimenez, they're the ones who will pick the students. They will call the parents and ask for permission first, and then it's like a 4 to 6 week cycle, and they focus on certain skills. Right, so it's students who are exhibiting the same behaviors or who may need a specific skill so they can work with a group of students. And so we're implementing the second cycle already.
Those are very, very important, and I feel like they're very helpful, so that's really good. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
I just want to say kudos to yourself and your team for addressing and decreasing the chronic absenteeism. If I read that correctly, it went from 41% to 28%.
Yes.
That's unheard of.
Mhm.
So that's a huge thing that should be applauded. And then regarding your changes or additions to your culture creating routines, I mean, those are things that I see like on Snapchat and all these other, forums where students have that ability instantly either to do a high five or a
Yeah,
fist bump, and so you stated that you receive them a certain way and then you send them off, which is the sandwich technique. So I just want to applaud your efforts at
for sure. Thank you, and thank you to the staff who support because, we can have all the ideas in the world, but without them, it doesn't get done. So, thank you.
Good job.
Mhm.
Thank you. Eight public comments. Members of the public may address the board on any agenda item or other item of interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board before or during the governing board's consideration of the item. The board is not able to discuss or take action on any item not appearing on the agenda. Pursuant to board policy, the board may limit individual comments to no more than 3 minutes and individual topics to 20 minutes. Please begin your comments by stating your name.
Yes, school board. The board asks that during public comment, everyone be respectful of the speakers. Members of the public should not interrupt or interject while another person is giving their public comment. During public comments, there shall be no use of foul language. Should a member of the public have a concern about a specific employee, we ask that you direct those concerns to myself, the superintendent, after this meeting so that the concerns can be handled through the proper procedures. Please do not use employee or student names during public comments. School board, we do have a total of 4.
Okay.
We have Miss Iris Flores, Community Schools, public comment.
Hi, everyone. I don't have a PowerPoint, but that's okay. But what I do have for you are some goodies you're welcome to pass around. It's just kind of like a snapshot of some of the things we've been doing this year. I didn't want to waste too much ink and paper so you all can share. Good evening, everyone. Iris Flores. I was hired as the community schools grant coordinator as a stipulation of the grant, and I am the community engagement coordinator. And so I started my journey in Farmersville last year, actually not in a school. I was introduced to Farmersville by going to a church. And I fell in love with the local church, and I was like, I kind of like that community. It's really cool. I enjoyed the people, I enjoyed the food, and I enjoyed everything like that. So talking to my family, it's like, hey, let's apply, and here I am, and so the rest is history. I say that because I'm not from here, but now I'm a part of the community. I came here with the lens of not knowing what Farmersville was other than the church. But in getting to know Farmersville, I noticed that there's 3 things that this community loves. Well, food is one of them, right? We all know that. But art. I found out that this community loves art, right? And what better way to find out than through student voice, youth capacity building, and finding out that they liked art. In fact, maybe some of them didn't even know they were artists until they were given the opportunity to be seen and to be heard. The other thing that this community likes is to give back. Is civic engagement, community service, and helping each other out. What I noticed, though, was that everybody was overlapping. Everyone wants to help in all these ways, right? But nobody knows who to ask, where to go, who's doing it, who's in charge, are we doing it here, where it's happening? And there was just kind of like, there was not a very clear pathway on how to like kind of jump on board, unless you're from here, you know, have a connection, or you know somebody, right? So why not open the playing field, provide equity, provide inclusion, provide everyone, and highlight the students, the staff, the parents, the community members, and the local businesses, right? And so you all know how I started. I came ramping on in with my Bay Area energy at 1,000 miles an hour, you know, and I'm probably a lot not as fast right now, right? It's kind of slow down, but here I am. I started by just entering my way in and meeting people. Hi, I'm Iris. I have this idea. Hey, what do you know about this, right? Really wanting to get to know the town from the ground up. Because it's with my heart that was leading me and guiding me. Okay. I studied transformation and leadership at University of San Francisco, all right? And so I really am strongly a firm believer in transformative leadership, and I know what it does, right? And so really, I'm here today to kind of talk about some good things that Community Schools has done. I started last March during the planning phase. What are we gonna do, you know? And within that, you'll notice CSPP at a grant. And if you don't know what CSPP is, it's a mouthful. It's another word for community schools. It's the grant that I'm operating, and California Department of Education sees this as a transformation strategy. So what better way to make change when you have such a great tool and the entire state behind you to back it, right? There are pillars of framework that the Community Schools Grant has. One of them is collaborative leadership, and the other one is engagement. And so it's no wonder why when I came and I first started, my first priorities are student engagement, collaborative leadership, food access, and student voice. Why? Because our students are our leaders. And I realized that our students wanted to be involved. It started very early on by Miss Westbrook, who said, hey, I have a student who wants to help. You're sharing these food link calendars, which, by the way, an MOU came out of community schools, to provide foods to our families every Friday for free. Every month, we serve between 100 and 600 families with free food. And not only that, but we also work with the California Community Food Bank, Wood Lake Family Resource Center, the TICO Dream Center, and the Visalia Family Resource Center. And amongst between our partnerships and collaborations, we help the people of Farmersville. In fact, one of my main visions of innovation and creativity in coming here was to build the Family Resource Center, the one that we bought for $1. I wanted that. And if it wasn't that, I would have taken a portable, right? And the idea was that I wanted a clothing closet, a food pantry, a place to look for a prom dress or an interview outfit. Maybe there's a band kid who doesn't have black slacks, diapers, formula, all of the wonderful things. But instead, we send our families to Wood Lake Family Resource Center, Visalia Family Resource Center, because we don't have one. And when our families ask, why don't we have one? I don't know what to say. All I know, and if you know me, you see me, I hoard clothes, I hoard food at my desk, right? It looks kind of crazy all the time, and that's okay. Because when a school calls and says, Iris, somebody had an accident, we need this, there's a mom, she's gonna lose her house. There's a family that has no food tonight. There's a family without a turkey. There's a family without a Christmas tree. There's a family with special needs children that needs help. Whatever it might be, they knew who to call because somehow word got around. There's this lady, she's new, we don't know her, she's not from here, right? But the word traveled fast and soon it became to go into the community. And so operating the Community Schools Grant, there's an advisory council, and there actually are some folks in this room who are very supportive of the Community Schools Grant. And so it was there that we had engaged in ideas and visions, and gosh, I wish we had this before. No one's ever asked us. We want to be more competitive. We want to be put on the map. We're tired of looking like everyone looks down on Farmersville. We want to be better. And I heard this, and we took it in, and there's data, right? And so I'm the Parent Square queen, right? Everyone knows that, right? But we call it Parent Square because it's for parents. If it was Staff Square, we would have a Staff Square, but we don't, because it's important that we communicate with our families. The feedback that I have gotten from families that says, I've never felt so communicated with in my entire history of Farmersville. I feel like I know what's going on. And golly gosh, do you know that on top of our Food Link MOU, we partnered with them twice. So we double partnered, right? So at the end of every month, the last Wednesday of the month, you guys know about the food drive from 3 to 5, right? Well, our community does, sometimes. Well, I began to share a calendar with staff and parents. I then began to utilize my contacts and ask them how we can deepen our relationship. Can they secure 50% of their volunteer workforce for our students so our students can learn how to work? They can learn how to serve, and they know what it's like to be a leader. And so as a result, 50% of the food link distribution is served by your students, if you didn't know, every month, and I'm there alongside them, and we serve, last month we served 350 families. 100 of them, when I tallied, said we found out through Parent Square, thank you, Ms. Flores, or we would not have had food. I took that to heart and I take it very seriously because lack of support or resources is unacceptable, right? But love, collectiveness is beautiful. And so I believe that if we stick together, I believe if this town and this community had outlets and opportunity, that our students can shine, that we can be competitive, that we can be the Farmersville that we truly can. And so I'm here today to kind of highlight the work that we've done, and I wanted to broadcast that out and share it with you near and wide, right? We did start the student art contest. I don't know if you guys heard about the student art contest. That was a ways to capture student engagement. There was no way, and so we're at 15% of student engagement started from 0. That's not an easy bar, and we're at 10% parent engagement from 0. These are all very good numbers, and students, 50% of our students at the last 2 community schools meetings were students, from 5th grade all the way to high school. That was a beautiful thing. And so I'm here today to let you know that community schools is a transformation tool that this community so deeply needs. In fact, with my construction, my school construction background, I'd walk through with Tony to meet with an architect and to talk about the plans of the beautiful Family Resource Center, and we helped design it. It's alive and it's a dream somewhere there. And all I'm saying today, and what I'd like to ask, is that we come together as a community, that Farmersville can come together, they can elevate their student voice, they can collaborate with partners. Some examples of partners are Boss Hogs, Polaris Golden Shields, Hustle Barber, TKO, Ugly Fruit, Farmersville Starbucks, County Library, Boys and Girls, Leo Conmigo, Kiwanis, Visalia Lions, Woodlake Family Resource Center, VDA, and we can go on and on. These are the partners that I've relied on. These are the partners that I've worked with all year to forge these relationships. I have helped parents pay their rent. I've helped parents actually go on the Habitat for Humanity for housing, right? There's actually a parent who's a substitute here. She had 0 work experience. I said, Miss Flores, I don't know how I'm gonna feed my kids. I don't have work experience. I said, have you tried subbing? Let's roll, right? Another one, she wanted to be an LVN, didn't know how. So all of these parents, when the social workers and the counselors meet with the parents and they can no longer provide them services, they call me. And I meet with those parents and I provide them services. And sometimes I meet with them for 3 hours a day. They hug on me, they cry on me, and I hear everything. Because truth is, I'm not from here. They don't want to tell somebody they know their business, right? And so I'm telling this to you today because you have a beautiful community, a community that I fell in love with. And I hope that you can provide them the opportunity that they deserve, give them that shining light and hope, that beacon of hope that they're starving for, the collaborative hearts that are in them, and our student leaders who are vibrant and are ready to learn and they're ready to go, but they want to know who they can look up to. Who has the courage to stand and make the change? Who has the courage to look silly and start something new? Well, I do, right? Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Flores. We have Isabella De La Cruz.
Hello, I am Isabel De La Cruz, and I am a former Farmersville student, and I'm currently enrolled in COS. I actually used to work for the district last semester briefly through Proteus, and I got to work firsthand with our community events coordinator, and I got to see some of the things that we get to do for people who are in need and get to engage within our community and see what we can do for people. A few things that I believe had the most positive impact to our community were food drives. being able to go to schools and provide food for those who are in need, or maybe who are less fortunate to be provided with food every day, or maybe those who struggle, or maybe some people who just want a light snack to go pick up. It is always super nice to watch our community engage with us, smile, talk about the experiences they have had, and just share with us some of their ideas that they've had as well. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You got it.
Also, being able to just interact with other staff and community members has been very helpful, and I think it could help make a change in our community, bring out what needs to be shown, whether it's basic needs like clothing and food, or something a little more personal like someone to talk to, people to meet with. Another thing, another event that I also assisted with were the art drives, which I thought were really nice because I got to see lots of student artwork that were funny, silly, and overall creative, and I loved helping with them. One of my favorite art competition events has been the Thanksgiving turkey drawings, I believe they were, where the winner got sent home with a turkey dinner to feed their family. Maybe they didn't have the money or supplies to fund to have Thanksgiving meals that year. So just being able to give that out to people who are in need have been really helpful. Also, we gave out stuff to anyone else who participated, just something small, so they don't feel left out, or so they can know that they have also been seen, and we appreciate all of their work in actually engaging in our community events and other stuff that we have provided for them. And I really hope that we can have more events like this in the future, because when I was in high school, we didn't have such opportunities like this to be able to thrive with our community or talk to people, or just be able to get like food like that, like basic necessities, food drives, maybe clothes. It was kind of like it wasn't very common for us, I guess, back in high school, and it was only a year ago. So being able to help people now and give them what they need has been very engaging with the community. And I do hope that this can go on for years to come.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have Miss, I hope I'm saying this correctly, is it Adilene Moran Garcia?
Hello, my name is Adilene Moran Garcia. I'm a student at Farmersville High School, and I just wanted to talk about my thoughts and experience about like the community schools, you know, the art contests that they be holding. So I was a grand prize winner of the happiness contest, and I actually have the drawing with me now, you know, like if you guys would like to see that. So I did do a video on it that went viral. It had about like 58,000 views, I believe. And it was basically me explaining, you know, like more about the drawing and like what inspired me to draw it. And I just wanted to say that I really think that what community schools is doing, like, but with the art contest, it's really, I think it's really amazing that we're able to have things like that, especially because I love seeing how different grades, you know, different ages I love seeing their drawings, and like for instance, I know one of like the things that we have, like the happiness or like love, like we get to see their perspective of like what they think love is or what they think happiness is, and I think it's just really amazing that we have that. And I also wanted to say that like I think the art contest is something that really motivates students, to want to do better, and it also helps them like be more engaged with that. And I also like how it's not just for like one certain school or like for one certain grade, but like it's for like all grade levels, so everyone can get involved. And it's just something that I think that should get like more recognition, and it's just something that's just really amazing that I'm really fond of. And yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah.
We have, our next speaker is Alma Espinoza and Chris Juarez. Community event.
You want the want me to put it right there? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. My name's Chris Juarez. I'm the MTSS coordinator with Farmersville Unified. And this is Alma Espinoza, our after-school program director. Yeah, our expanded learning program, sorry. So on April 2nd, we'll be hosting an event at Freedom Elementary from 4:30 to 6:30. This will be a resource fair for the entire community of Farmersville. You want to share? Whatever you want to share. It's up to you. As of right now, we have about 39 vendors signed up for this event. These are all agencies that we've partnered with over the years to help support with various initiatives that we've put in place. Through this, we will be having Fresno State, UC Merced, COS, United Way, Project Aware, various other agencies. We're still, every site will have a booth set up as well. The whole purpose of this is just to increase the engagement amongst the community. We're working with one of our new scholarships that we've just started this school year, so we'll be having our students out here as well, helping set up the event along with the agency that we've partnered with.
So yes, our goal is to bring families here so that way they can see all the services that we offer here in our district, but also local, and what we want to provide that to our families. Not only that, we're also going to be doing, Freedom is going to be having a STEM booths here, about 15 booths that they're going to be interacting anywhere from TK through 12. We're also going to be having signups for the summer STEAM program, so that's going to also be happening. And we are very excited for this event. We also opened it up for we also, we're gonna have, we connected with our, okay, sorry, that threw me off. We're gonna have over 30 booths, like Chris had mentioned, how we picture this. So it's gonna be right here next to the district office, and we're gonna open the gate. We're gonna have a table set up right there, a balloon arc waiting, and we're gonna have some staff waiting, greeting our parents as they're coming in, our families. Then we're gonna have at the beginning, each of our school sites is gonna be set up right there, so that way they're greeted. Our goal is to have labeled the grass area, so that way they know where the resources are. For example, mental health, local agencies, local businesses over here, our booths for STEAM as well. We're gonna have a couple food vendors. We are hoping we're gonna be connecting with any of our clubs here in our district that wanna sell anything, so we're giving them the first priority, so that way there's some clubs that really need to, wanna increase their funding in their clubs, so we'll have that as well. Any clubs that wanna do that, they can do so by connecting with us. We will have a vendor, so that way we can provide food for the partners that are coming in and some of our families that are waiting in line for the registration. After today, we are going to be making this flyer public. We're going to be sending out at Parent Square, in social media. We're going to be posting it out at our districts. We're going to be passing it out with every single student, and putting it in newsletters and our district website, so that way it can be known to all of our families of what we are going to be having on April 2nd. And it's our first annual resource fair, so we are very excited to have something like this in our community. I honestly think it's going to be amazing for our families to see what each of our school sites offer, and then what other resources, if they're needing resources as well, to connect them.
Initially, when we met with Fabian to plan this, I know, like, I think I invited like 10 to 20 different groups, which is great, it's a great collaborative. And I was wondering if the community schools logo was gonna end up, gonna get put on here, because I know you have the food links, so we're doing the food, we're doing that. Do you wanna highlight that? 'Cause I know I asked,
Yeah, we put each department on here, so community schools is in the district departments. So under district departments, we put TK third, informational booth, because we do have them coming out. We have Parent Square coming out as well. That's through our CalPATS coordinator. We have Universal Preschool coming out, that's UPK. We have Expanded Learning coming out. We have CTE bringing out their departments. We have the Health and Transportation team coming out. Freedom STEAM, Save the Children, and we have CTE on here twice. Farmersville Adult School and Community Schools. So we have all of our departments on here. The sites we did put on, we put on the direct sites. Since this is also in partnership with Freedom STEAM Night, we put theirs on, and then Expanded Learning, so.
Thank you. I know this is just public comment, so we appreciate the information. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
We hope to see you guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you have anything?
I do. Thank you so much. School board members here at our amazing board meeting. I want to express my gratitude to all FUSD staff. Thank you for your dedication to providing effective instruction and learning opportunities for all Farmersville students. Our main goal is to continue working together to improve learning conditions across the district and to create a smooth alignment of instruction from TK through 12th grade. A lot of our partners have already shared some of the events I'm going to speak about, but I'm going to bring them through anyways. I'm excited to share a few highlights from our schools. Read Across America was very successful. Student, staff, and invited guests from all over Tulare County were present to celebrate and encourage the love of reading at Hester, Snowden, and Freedom Schools. Thank you for highlighting that earlier, Ms. Paz. An open house next week, Hester Elementary on March 18th and Deep Creek Academy on March 20th will host an open house. My dates might be a little off. March 18th at Hester, does that sound about right? No, March 20th, okay. So both sites, along with administrators of the events, are looking forward to hosting parents and staff as they come together and share insights and support student learning. And it was just shared by our community team here that Family STEAM Night at Freedom School, hosted by our ELOP program. Freedom Elementary is holding a Family STEAM Night on March 19th from 5 to 7. This event provides hands-on opportunities for families to explore science, technology, engineering, art, and math, together fostering a love for learning and innovation.
We actually got merged with April 2nd, so that we can have 2 live programs going on that.
Beautiful. I love the fact that we're updating as we go. So April 2nd, thank you so much. So these are just few of the things, exciting initiatives taking place throughout our district. We look forward to continuing the support and the growth and success of our students. Great things are happening in Farmersville, Farmersville up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Superintendent Mendez. We'll go on to 10.0 K8 issues. 10.1 approval of parent donation from Carlos Rodarte for Farmersville Junior High School Chess Club.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Freddie Espinoza. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. 11.0 high school issues. 11.1 approval of FHS CTE welding to COS Tulare campus on April 4th, 2025.
Motion?
Second.
A motion by Freddie Espinoza, second by Merced Zamora. Is that correct?
Correct.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. 11.2, approval of Key Club to Bolero on March 15th, 2025 at Visalia, California.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Sabrina Gomez. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed, 5-0. 11.3, approval of amended grant award notification, FAS.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Sabrina Gomez. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. 12.0, curriculum. 12.1, approval of Project Clear Spring Literacy Conference on April 5th, 2025 at St. Mary's College, Soda Center, Moraga, California.
Motion?
Second.
Have a motion by Freddie Espinoza, second by Merced Zamora. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. 12.2, approval of document tracking services agreement 2025 through 2026.
Motion.
Second?
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Freddie Espinoza. Is that correct?
Correct.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. 12.3, approval of memorandum of understanding between Farmersville Unified School District and Tulare County Office of Education, SILPA.
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Merced Zamora. Is that correct?
Yes.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. 13.0, personnel. 13.1, approval of certificated personnel, item 13.1.1 through item 13.1.4.
Motion. Second.
I have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Merced Zamora. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. 13.2, approval of classified personnel, item 13.2.1 through item 13.2.3.
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion by Freddie Espinoza, second by John Alvarez. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. 13.3, approval of extracurricular activity / coaching personnel, item 13.3.1 through item 13.3.3.
Motion with some questions.
I second.
We have a motion by Sabrina Gomez with a question, second by Freddie Espinoza.
I have a, yeah.
Go ahead.
I have a few questions. So I know spring sports has already kicked off. We're a little behind with these. Was it just because we didn't have candidates, or were we just late to posting the positions?
I know a little bit about it because I was at the site, but then I'll have Mr. Sanchez add to that. We're in a small league. We're in a
Yeah.
tri-league with Exeter, Farmersville, I forget the other, Lindsay? Lindsay. And so because we're in such a small league, due to the busing and transportation, we do have a smaller season.
Oh, man.
We play each team twice, sometimes 3 times.
Every 2 years, the quad league rotates. The idea
Mhm.
additional seasons. But once that rotation occurs, it's a much shorter turnaround time to get the season started, like 3 weeks.
Man,
Mm,
okay.
So if
makes sense.
coach steps away or doesn't want to continue, we gotta hurry up and kind of.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I have another question regarding the process of interviews and notifying. In that process, how are the people who apply, how are they notified if they do or don't get the position? Are they notified, or are they expected to wait for this board packet to come out to find out?
You know, our normal practice is that we notify them. But obviously, position is not until it's board approved, it's not necessarily theirs. But they're notified if they got it, and they should be notified if they didn't.
Okay, all right. That's my only question. Motion.
Motion remains. Any other questions? Okay. We have a motion by Sabrina Gomez, second by Freddie Espinoza. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. 13.4, Personnel Action Report, information only. (13.5), Adoption of Resolution Number 15-03-11-25 for reduction of classified management school employee services for the 2025-2026 school year due to lack of work and/or lack of funds.
Motion. Second.
I have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Merced Zamora. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
You abstain?
Mhm.
And,
No, I approve.
okay. It's 4-0-1. Motion carried. 14.0, Board Business. 14.1, consideration of any item any member of the board wishes to have on the future agenda or provide a written update. Mr. Lopez, anything for the agenda?
Ma'am?
Okay. Mr. Zamora?
None.
Espinoza? Alvarez?
No.
Gomez?
Yes. May we please make sure that our grass is cut prior to our events coming up with the April 2nd, March 20th, back-to-school nights and all that? I have a question. It's more regarding data, and it's not something I want on the agenda, but more maybe an update on. But I'm a bit concerned that I've, coming into the second, or the end of the school year, we just had grades put out. So my curiosity more towards maybe high school and middle school. Have we collected data as far as how many students are failing? How many of those students are IEP? And what are we doing anything to assist and get them up to grade? Because I don't know if we fail any students or we just move them along. And so I'm more interested in how we're assisting. If they are IEP, why are they failing? Because don't they have those extra resources to help them? So probably not the next board meeting, because I know it takes time to collect the data, but at least by April. And then if we can try to see if everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing to get those students where they need to be.
So this is what I'm hearing. Secondary, junior high, high school, number of students failing. How many of those students that are failing have IEPs or 504s?
Mm-hmm.
And what are we doing as a response to intervention to make sure that these students are back in and ready to
Yes.
progress? I will work with both site principals and get something ready for our board.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't think I have anything at this time. Did you have anything further? Anybody else? Last chance? Okay. Going on to 15.0, Business Services. 15.1, Second Period Interim Presentation.
Good evening, board members, student board member, Superintendent Mendez, and all of our colleagues here tonight. I get a couple of times a year to come in front of you and present to you the fiscal health status of our school district. And so tonight is that second time. The first interim comes in December, second interim is today in March. And so what I'd like to do is summarize for you that lengthy report that you have in your packets. It's a second interim report. And so, if there's any questions on this, I'm happy to answer those along the way. It can be interactive if you have those questions. Otherwise, I will provide just a summary overview of this. And the interim report, it does require approval. I'm happy to announce that we've met the criteria for this report. And so the three main criteria that we look at for second interim report is to ensure that we have 3% reserves budgeted. Also that we have positive cash flow, which we do. And also that obviously that it's balanced. And so what I'll do is walk you through the series of funds that are represented in the budget report. But I'll really try to focus more so on our general fund, which is really our big bucket, right, where most of our revenue comes in. Some of the, this report does include, as I mentioned, budget reports for each of those funds. So it's not just our general fund, it's also the cafeteria fund, it's our capital fund, developer fees funds, and so there's several funds that are represented part of this report. So those will be covered in the report. It's really a snapshot of our revenue and expenses from the beginning of the school year through January 31st. And then I'll also go over some projections with you, just so that you get a sense of the direction of the school district, health status with our fiscal budgets. And so we'll cover that through school year 26-27. Some of the recommendations that we factor in as part of this report, obviously one of the main ones that we're looking at is COLA. And so that's cost of living adjustment. And so generally speaking, every year there's a COLA that's applied to how much we receive for payment per student. And so for this current year, the COLA is 1.07, which for those of you who've been on the board longer, specifically in the past few years, we know that this is down quite significantly. A couple of years ago, we saw COLAs upwards of around 8%. And so we're in a kind of a tightening when it comes to budgets. And so that's represented in the budget. The other things that we include are percentages for STRS and PERS contributions for retirement accounts, as well as CPI, which is a percentage of inflation costs, whether it's for goods or services. And so we try to factor all of that in to this budget. The other recommendations are to, obviously, any grant funding that we have received, to include it in our budget. And so we do have some state funding, arts and music, learning recovery. At the last interim report, you still saw some of the federal funds from ESSER. Those have expired since, so they've dropped off. But we also do include some of the projects that you see listed there. And so the cafeteria HVAC, the fire alarm, the new modular classrooms, the chiller project, shade structure and welding booths, some kitchen infrastructure funds, which we hope to revamp some of our equipment in the cafeteria kitchens, and then also the Hester project where we're building nine new modulars. And so if you drive there, you'll probably see them out there now. So quite a lot of expenses. This now is a screenshot of our calculator, and so you'll see that I've highlighted in a square there, a squared line, the current year COLA, and then the total funding. This is based on enrollment and attendance. So the 36 million at the bottom is what we've received this year. And then you can see in the years out, that does grow because our COLA at the top is also growing. So these are projections. These can fluctuate, and in fact, they do. So that's why we do this a couple times a year, to keep you updated on the status of our fiscal health. So this next slide, this is a summary of our main account, which is our general fund. And so you're gonna notice that the first column, or second column, right, because the first column is all of our headers for those rows, is the unrestricted side of our account. And then the next column is the restricted side. The unrestricted is where that $36 million is deposited by the state. And then the next column with restricted, that's where we have all of our grants. And then combined is that final column. So you'll see that the total revenue for this year is projected at 50 million. The next grouping below is all of our expenditures. And of course, the salaries is always the greatest expense, but we do include benefits there, books and supplies, services, capital outlay, so some of the construction projects, other outgo, indirect cost, all for a total expense of 60 million. So we know that there's a difference. We do basic math and we know that there's more expenses than there is revenue. And so I know that one of the focus areas is for us to address the deficit. And so on the unrestricted side, you'll notice at the bottom line, which is that bottom row, it's the net increase and decrease. After our second interim, that was significantly higher, 2.4, and so now we've been able to decrease that to 1.1. Now, next to that is a $7 million deficit. Now, I want to bring your attention to that because I don't want you to panic, because it's not a true deficit because we already have received the funds for those grants. And so those funds sit in our fund balance. That's what it's called. So they're sitting there getting ready to be used for staffing, supplies, services. But in the third year out, which I'll show you the multi-year projection, we do see that when those funds expire, we'll obviously need to be planning for those beforehand. Because generally speaking, and I think I mentioned this during the first interim report, as grants expire, so should their expenses, unless we're able to find other funding sources. So I know that that seems like a really large number, but just know that through our planning process, any grant funding we'll be addressing as we get closer for it to expire. So the next one, the next part of the report is the projection. This is on the unrestricted side. And you can see now that the columns represented there are 3 years. The current year, next year, and then the following year. I want to really focus in on that net change, which is that middle number. So again, we're projecting this year to end in a $1.1 million deficit. Next year, we're barely breaking even, right? We actually won't be overspending. We'll have $100,000 or $145,000. The following year, we'll have about $86,000. So the numbers below, you'll see where we do have a fund balance, and so you'll notice that in this current year, after we apply that 1.1 million and we reduce it from our beginning balance, our ending balance for the year is projected to be 12 million. And then you can see that carrying over the following years down below. Any questions?
Quick question. So back to the COLA, you said that, because this is my first year, but you said before it used to be at 8%?
It was in prior years.
So then, is this a guess for the 2.43, or is that a guarantee?
It's a projection, so we call them projections, and so those can be adjusted. And so we obviously keep a close eye on those because they do impact our total revenue.
Okay.
And so those are certainly not set by the school district, those are set by the state.
Okay.
And so we'll be following those along, and during these interim reports, we'll definitely share out whatever latest information we have on COLA.
Nice. So then, there could be a projection of, it could be higher for those years, or?
It could change, I will say.
They're about, average, they're about 3. It's very unlikely that there were 9 in the past. It's just, I guess we got lucky with those numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But certainly through these reports, I will share that out and give you the latest information on what the schools are receiving. Yeah.
And then on the sheet, just, I guess for me, because when I see the net increase and decrease, it confuses me because I think that's a positive for the decrease. Would we be able to add like negatives?
So what you see in parentheses, that represents a negative.
Oh, okay then.
If you don't see it in parentheses, it's a positive.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah.
Perfect. That
Good
makes more
question.
sense. Awesome. Thank you.
Next time I'll put it in red for you.
Yeah.
Generally speaking,
I like that.
negatives show up in red. This
Okay.
one is in black and white, so I'll get it in red for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, I'll move on to the restricted part of the budget. This is where we should be seeing all those reds, right? But again, these deficits are covered by our beginning balance. That's our fund balance. So we've already received all of the arts and music funds, the learning recovery funds. So they're sitting there, waiting just to be used up, and we have plans for them. But, just wanted to bring to your attention that by year 26, 27, we're pretty much exhausting all of those funds that we have. And so certainly next year in 25, 26, during program planning, we'll be having more conversations about what kinds of plans we need to put in place to address the ending of those funds. So the final slide of the multi-year projection is just a combined view of the unrestricted and the restricted side of the budget. And so you'll see that by year 3, in year 26, 27, we end with $12 million in our fund balance. So, really the priority was to address that larger deficit we were seeing on the unrestricted side. Some of the other funds that I mentioned that are in the report include Fund 212, and I'm just really sharing with you some of the fund balances that are in those accounts. So 2.9 million. Our developer fees, 600,000. Fund 350, 351, and 356, 1.3 million. And the Fund 400s, we have 2.9 million. Down below is a list of some of the projects and how we're using these funds. So approximately 1.5 out of Fund 403 for the new facilities project. 766,000 coming out of Fund 350, which is a match for the TK modulars at Hester. And, some of the remaining funds will certainly have more planning around and strategically using those for any goals that the board might have or superintendent. So again, just to summarize, we have a positive certification. We meet the criteria for this report. And so we're heading in the right direction with addressing the deficit, which I know we were all focusing on that. And so, the hope is that COLA continues to increase or stabilize, but we'll be monitoring the state budget to continue to project out. The next report that we'll bring to you will be in June, and that'll be our adopted budget for next year. And so hopefully, right, we're hoping that things get better in the economy and that we have a much better budget for everybody.
Are there any questions? Mr. Zamora?
I'm good, thank you.
John?
Thank you.
Good.
I just wanted to indicate the COLA, that's a cost of living adjustment, but that's for everything throughout our budget, correct? It's supposed to help for any cost, but with the trade wars, that could be not enough anyway, right?
So great point. So yes, COLA is given to school districts. Now, the school district, I like to share with people whenever I'm asked about a budget, is, the school district is an entity, and the school district has regular ongoing costs. So you at home might have rising energy costs, and so do we. So does our school district. You might have noticed that food costs more. Well, so does the food that we purchase for our cafeteria, right? Services that we contract, we pay more for those. And so when we receive COLA, as the person that's administrating the funds, we also have to incorporate that information and just acknowledge that COLA also needs to be utilized for those rising costs. And so, yes, the COLA is there to use strategically for all of our expenses.
Okay. And the other question, do you know how many bonds we actually have that we're still paying on?
So, we
Not bonds, what are they? COP.
COP. So we're actually in process of closing out the COP that paid for the aquatic center.
All right.
And so I'm in communication with our rep because we didn't spend it all, and so we'll have some money that'll get paid back for that. So not a whole lot, but that's one.
So that's money that we can use to finish off some of the other major projects we have going on, hopefully.
It's money that has to only be used for the aquatic center, and so in my research and homework for this COP project, there's everything that was written for the scope of that money has pretty much been fulfilled, and so it just gets paid back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I have 0 questions. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much,
very
Mr.
much.
Monroy.
Thank you.
$15.2, approval of second period interim report and positive certification of financial status.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Freddie Espinoza, is that correct?
No.
Oh,
Merced
Merced, see,
Zamora.
that's why I asked, because I can't hear.
I
Merced Zamora.
Right.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-all. 15.3, K-3 schools, Hester and Snowden Elementary discussion. So we just put it on here to see if there's any further questions by anyone. If there is no further questions, we've already had 2 meetings for public discussion. We've had how many at the schools?
Total of 4.
Total of 4. I believe we're ready to put it on the agenda for approval.
Yep.
Okay, that's what we shall do. Thank you. $15.4, approval of Sierra Range construction change orders for on-site work at Hester School, TKK modular project for under slab foundation utilities of the revised plan drawings approved by DSA Construction Design.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Merced Zamora. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-all. 15.5, approval of budget hearing and adoption dates.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Freddie Espinoza and second by Sabrina Gomez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-all. 15.6, approval of proposal for 2024 developer fee justification study.
Second.
You have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Freddie Espinoza, is that correct?
Correct.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. 16.0. 16.1, approval of Food Link of Tulare County agreement.
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion by Freddie Espinoza, second by Merced Zamora, is that correct?
Yes.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. 16.2, approval of Healthy Campus EHR system.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by John Alvarez, second by Sabrina Gomez, is that correct? Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. 16.3, Children and Youth Behavioral Health Initiative presentation. Mr. Juarez, you're up.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Juarez. I'll be doing this presentation tonight. So I'll be presenting on our CYBHI initiative. It's the California Youth Behavioral Health Initiative and Capacity Grant. We're in cohort 2. We are the only district in Tulare County in cohort 2. Every other district at this point is in 3 or 4, so kudos to our team for that. Last year, we received the capacity grant, which we were allocated $140,000. It was based on our ADA. With this money, we could only spend it on our electronic health record program or updating our systems. One thing we're doing with this funding is we will be partnering with Healthy Campus, and with Healthy Campus, they will be completing the Medi-Cal enrollment, providing a billing infrastructure to our support team and services. So myself, the counselors, school social workers, school psychologists, and our district nurse, any credentialed staff that is providing direct student services will be working with this program so we can begin documenting and collecting data, inputting it into this program that is our electronic health record system, and we will be billing for our services that are provided for private and Medi-Cal insurances. So what is the CYBHI fee schedule? It's a new initiative in the state of California. It's a big initiative. All insurance agencies, including private and Medi-Cal, have come together and developed a plan so school districts can receive reimbursements for direct services that are already being provided. Right now, we are billing through Medi-Cal specifically for our services that are provided, but the state has now opened it up to private insurances as well. One thing I want to share with everyone is private insurance, you'll never be billed for this. I know that's been a question that's come up. You as a parent will not be sent a bill. Your insurance provider has agreed to this program, and it's actually part of the new state statute W&I code section. I believe that's a WIC section. It's going to require insurance plans to reimburse regardless of network provider status for services, and families shall not be subject to co-payment, co-insurance, deductible, or any other form of cost sharing. So our families will not be charged. I know that's been a discussion at county meetings I've went to, but I just want to stress our families will not be charged for any of these services that we're providing. One thing it will require, and we will have to start, is it's going to require us during our registration to also request parents' insurance. So I know other school districts I've been with, we do that for sports, we do that for for field trips. Here, our game plan would be during registration would be to request the insurance of each student that's enrolled at Farmersville Unified. Are there any questions?
What do you do if they don't have insurance?
What's that?
They don't have insurance.
So if they don't have insurance, we can open them up through CalWorks, through SARB. We have our CalWorks liaison who's been opening up families. So we have a lot of our families who are undocumented. Our students can still receive some form of CalWorks support.
Thank you.
Quick question.
Go ahead.
So, I'm trying to understand the program. It's basically free insurance, like, so say I was a parent counseling?
It's specific to only school-based counseling. So if your student is enrolled in one of our schools and meets with our counselor for any type of social support, social emotional counseling, like Ms. Paz shared earlier, our students are in skill building groups. Those can be billed to insurance providers.
Okay, so like for counseling, so like for instance, outside of the insurance, I would have to pay for that. But then,
No.
I'm sorry, like, so me as a parent, if I take my kid to counseling, I have to pay for that with my insurance?
If you take your kid to a private provider, yeah, you would have to pay out of your pocket.
Okay.
In-base school counseling, so everyone that works for Farmersville Unified will have to have a national provider number. So all those MPI numbers will be tied to Farmersville Unified, so you won't be billed if they're being provided that service at Farmersville Unified School District.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I mean,
So
yeah.
then we would have to have the counselor on site
Yeah,
to
every-
the child.
yeah.
He can continue.
Every school site has a counselor and social worker and psychologist.
Do we get free service for our superintendent?
He needs it.
Okay.
Test, test.
Okay.
1, 2,
Better.
right there, perfect.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Question. So this is in addition to, hypothetically speaking, we'll say there's a kid that gets in trouble for pushing other kids, that kind of stuff. So it's that type of counseling we're talking about?
Yeah, it can be behavioral based, social emotional based, any form of student based counseling that's non-academic. So if you're meeting with your counselor because you're failing a class, that's not billable. But as we know, when we're meeting with our students, a lot of times it goes from an academic meeting to now we're turning into a meeting with the kid that's struggling with something going on, form of bullying, something going on at home. So then we can, if it's a billable service, we can document and provide billables for that.
Two other questions on the
Yeah.
same basis. One, will parents be notified that that is actually taking place with the counselor?
Yes, so what we are doing after tonight, that's what I was gonna present tonight, we are working on a parent letter to send out, because one, we're gonna need to have the parents' insurance information. At the beginning of the year, when parents complete their registration, they do opt in for counseling or opt out for counseling. A majority of our parents do opt in for school-based counseling, and so what we'll do is, if we're meeting with them, all of our parents should be aware that their kids are being provided services by someone at our school site. But through this email that we'll be sending out and during registration, if they provide that insurance information to us, we'll be letting them know at that time we'll be providing the services. We'll be billing it to those insurance providers, but they'll never see a bill for it.
And the other one is that this is taken during classroom settings, right? Or is it after school?
No, this is during the school day. So anytime during contracted time, no, not even contracted, it'd be during any school day, but even crisis-based counseling are covered as well. So unfortunately, at times, our student service department, we do receive phone calls at times after hours, and we are working with our students until a crisis provider can get to the home. That would be something we can provide billable services for as well.
And that was gonna be my question, just because of social media and all that stuff, usually issues arise more when the kid's at home and the parents have the concerns which law enforcement can't address those issues, so I was wondering if
Yeah,
it's more of a,
our
where they
current
step in.
Our current practice right now is when students are like, let's say it's a weekend or it happens on a day off of work, what we'll do is if we get in contact with the student or the family, we'll contact crisis immediately. We'll contact Farmersville PD. But most of the time we contact Sequoia Youth Services, which is our immediate crisis responder, or Tulare County Office of Ed has a crisis team as well.
And then, quick question.
Yeah.
So then, outside of our normal counselors, does this allow us to bring in like other people that are necessary to fulfill what's going on mentally, but pay them out through this insurance program?
Well, I mean, we don't want to expand just yet, because one thing that could happen is this is a billing initiative, but the initiative could go away at some time. So we want to make sure we sustain what we have. The whole purpose of this program was to sustain what you already have. We do have partnerships with Sequoia Youth Services that provide direct services to our students for mental health. And if our students have private insurance, I work with our counselors to make sure we send them to a private provider that has a sliding scale, meaning it can go from $5 to $50 per session. We try to work with a lot of our private providers. Unfortunately, they're in Visalia, outside of the area, but we do make those referrals as needed.
That makes sense.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so my question is regarding the medical record and documentation. Are our counselors currently having to learn how to document to be put into the medical record?
Yeah, so that's something we're partnering with Healthy Campus for, because currently we bill through MBT, but I came from a Medi-Cal based provider. Those aren't billable notes. We don't get them pushed back often, but they wouldn't qualify under this program. We are partnering to get trained to do appropriate notes. We do have to develop treatment plans for all students we meet with. So if every student we meet with is going to have a treatment plan on file, and then through that plan, we'll be doing our billable notes.
So how is that documentation going to be available to the parents if I wanted to obtain those? Are they?
Yeah, well, so there is some guidelines behind that. If the student is is 12 or older, the state of California does say the student does have the right to not allow the parent to review those files. It's a bit of a gray area, I do understand, but that is what the state of California says. If the student is 12 or below and the parent comes and requests records, we'll be able to give you those records. We do always ask 24 hours, even in our current practice, so we can go and redact any type of IDs that are of another student.
Perfect.
Yep.
No, I come from a medical records background, and so I just wanted to know if that's what we were going to follow.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, like, just just regular doctor, I had to have my daughter sign consent for me to be able to get her records. So that's good that we're following that,
Perfect.
and we have a plan.
So the Healthy Campus, this is who we're partnering with. We're very excited to be partnering with them. They are going to take on a lot of the behind the scenes work for us. It is a lot of work. We're going to be meeting with them pretty often. They're going to be developing the system. We're going to be working on making sure everything's compliant with what the state of California is regulating. But this program was approved by Tulare County Office of Ed. We are getting it at a cost share. That's why we're going with them. This is just kind of more information on Healthy Campus. It's going to be us working directly with them. We're going to have a direct service provider out of Fresno that will be visiting Farmersville once a month to make sure we're doing everything with compliance. And the whole purpose of this program is all about sustainability. So this is kind of a walkthrough of the claims journey. As you guys know, claims at times take a little longer than others. In a perfect world, this is their slide for claims. We provide the claim to them. They'll approve it or not approve it. Our goal is to have at least 70% of our claims approved. If they're denied, obviously we're going to work to see why they're being denied. And here's our Farmersville Unified projected timeline. So we're in March right now. We get this approved. We start training up our staff. We are working on sending out a letter to our families and community members, just so they're aware of what we're going to be doing, because this is a huge initiative. In April, we plan on doing some onboarding and professional development and training for our team. Provide about 2 to 3 parent workshops for any questions, because this is private information. And so I do understand, I want to just share the message to our parents of what we're doing. And then we're going to begin registration in April. And then in May, we could potentially be the first district in Tulare County to send a billable note to Department of Healthcare Services. So we're ahead of the game right now. We want to keep this going because this can be a big sustainability tool for Farmersville Unified. And I think, here are some common questions. Will my insurance be billed? No, family shall not be subject to co-payment or payment. Will FUSD need my insurance information? Yes, we will need your provider information. They'll be uploaded into Healthy Campus, which is a secured electronic health record system. What services can be billed? It's individual counseling, group counseling, crisis counseling, psychological services, and health services. And then the current process, we currently bill through MBT Medi-Cal billing. We'll be stopping with them. We'll be going through Healthy Campus. And by 2027, all districts will be required to be following this initiative. We're just ahead of the game right now.
So even though the parents won't receive a bill, will they still receive an EOB from their insurance companies?
That's something that's been brought up. They're based on, due to confidentiality for some of it, that still hasn't been shared.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Your billing cycle, will that be like per month or per session?
The billing cycle is going to be, from what was shared, every 60 days.
Every 60 days?
Yeah.
Anything that can't be handled on campus will be referred out?
Yeah, so if it's like something that happened off Farmersville campus, you're saying?
No, I'm talking about something where maybe our
extreme.
counselors don't feel like they
Like
have enough.
beyond them.
Got you. Yeah, so we'll keep the same practice in place. If it's something that we need direct, like Sequoia Youth Services, that's their specialty, or Tulare Youth Services, or Visalia, we'll still make contact with them and have them provide that support.
Actually, I do have one more question.
Go ahead.
So does the insurance work like, say a student continuously uses it all year? Does it like drain that amount of money that he's using for the other students, or is it like collectively everybody gets, it's just like, do the funds run out, or?
No. So the way it works, and this was a question that was brought up, is how many sessions can my student get? Because that was something that's been brought up at multiple meetings. There is no cap. So what's gonna happen is there's no funding source that says, I've met with you way too much, I can't meet with you no more. Like, we'll never do that. As providers, we'll never do that.
Nice.
But there is no cap right now. What we're gonna do is we're gonna provide services as needed, which there are a lot of services needed at our sites, but there's no cap to anything.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're also not gonna become like, trying to get rich off this. This initiative is what we're gonna do. We're gonna support. The only thing we're changing now is our billing vendor and the way our notes are gonna look. Any other questions?
Any other questions?
No, you've been doing a great job. I know
Thank you.
it's a
Thank you.
big project.
Yeah.
So good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very well explained. Thank you very
All
much.
right, have a good one.
Thank you, Mr. Juarez.
Okay, 17.0, future meeting dates. 17.1, March 25th, 2025, April 8th, 2025, and I know we have our board tour.
March 21st.
March 21st.
Yeah.
Yes, March 21st.
And I believe we were gonna run that like a board meeting in a way,
Correct.
just to
We meet here.
protect ourselves. make sure
We
everything
have
is-
to meet here, open it up, and then we go to the different sites on a
Okay.
schedule
So meet here.
together.
Okay. Okay then.
Okay?
Okay.
Principals, that was gonna be talked about at our managerial meeting on Thursday, but you have the information ahead of time. March 21st, we will be doing a board visit at each site. I'll send you a calendar invite so you have it, and then give you a list of where we're gonna start, approximate time that we're gonna be at your site.
Have coffee and donuts ready for us.
Yep. Every site, the one that does the best will applaud you. Just joking.
Okay, 20.0, adjournment to closed session at 8:22 to discuss 20.1, conference with labor negotiator GC 54957.6. It is the intention of the board to meet in closed session to review its position and to instruct its designated rep, agency designated rep, Manuel Mendez, name of organization, FTA/CSEA/management. 20.2, public employee discipline dismissal release complaint, Government Code 54957. 20.3, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to subdivision D, 2, and E of section of 54956.9, one case.
Okay.
Administrators, everybody, you're excused. Thank you, principals, thank you, staff members, you guys are amazing.
Thank you, guys.
will return into open session at 9:05. 21.0, action taken on closed session items. 21.1, conference with labor negotiator GC 54957.6. It is the intention of the board to meet in closed session to review its position and to instruct its designated rep, agency designated representative Manuel Mendez, name of organization FTA/CSEA/management, no action. 21.2, public employee discipline dismissal release. Complaint Government Code Section 54957. During closed session discussion on a motion by John Alvarez, second by Freddie Espinoza, the board voted to approve resolution to non-reelect 386-758-4373 probationary certificated employees at the conclusion of the current school year. The superintendent has been authorized to issue the appropriate notice of non-reelection as required by law. The roll call vote was as follows: ayes 5, noes 0, 0 abstentions. Mr. Alvarez, do you remain with that same motion?
Yes.
Mr. Espinoza, same second.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-all. 21.3, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to subdivision D, 2, and E of section 54956.9, one case, no action. 22.0, adjournment at 9:06.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Sabrina Gomez, is that correct?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Awesome.